So Spider-Man has a new film coming out. I don't know if anybody out there knows anything about it, so it's not like it's been plastered everywhere with hundreds of millions of views and popular beyond belief. There's some speculation with this movie, with some cameos popping up here and there, but I have some disagreements with some of the people that I follow, but let's get right into the trailer and break it down. Just like pausing it right there. Oh, the multiverse or whatever it is for Doctor Strange to be doing, because you see this in his own movie. Just everything like kind of breaking down and stuff. It's pretty awesome. I like it. It's pretty cool looking, but yeah, let's go.
Oh, look at this. This is a good one. Some suggest that Parker's powers include the male spider's ability to hypnotize females.
Stop, come on. Yes.
Yeah, I actually do like this little dynamic. One of the things that he'll even mention, actually I want to only get to his mentioning of it.
My spider lord. Can we just like stay up here all day? It is so crazy down there.
You see, what I don't see any issue with that. They literally live in one of the most craziest universes I've probably ever seen in any comic book, other than Wonder Woman literally knocks some villain through all the multiverses. It's a very weird comic book. It makes a lot of sense just how they set it up. I disagree that Wonder Woman should have been the one that actually punches the person through all the universes, all the multiverses in this one little comic book that was explained. But they live in such a chaotic time. Of course he would want to have a little time to chill. I'm okay with Mary Jane. Again, anytime that you're going to have quote-unquote race swap, or if you're going to swap one person to another, I don't mind if there's like a little bit of a change, just a little bit, from the movie Cruella, the prequel that came out with Disney. I don't like that. I don't like how radical you change one person to another. In one of the newest Charlie's Angels films that came out, they make Bosley into a woman. It's like, why? Why? It was just, because you're like checking the box or something. Okay. If you're gonna make a change about a character a little bit, like, it's okay, but please like stay true to the original character. And Mary Jane is a very timid, if not, I wouldn't say timid, but a very meek part of the entire story about him, so it's not really a blatant issue. It's just something of like, I wish they like maybe dyed her hair with like red streaks or something. That would be kind of be an homage to the original Mary Jane. I think that would be really, really nice. Just have like on her left or right, maybe both, just like a red streak, something that it's like, oh, I'm gonna dye my hair or something. It's like, oh, cool. Or always having a red bun in her hair. It's like, see, that would be kind of cool to have. That's the only thing in which I have an issue with Mary Jane. Just, if you're gonna change a character, just do it not subtly is nice, but if you're gonna do it, try not to ruin the original character. If the original character has full clothing and they just come out naked, that's weird. If you have a character that's fully naked, literally just like scantily clad and stuff, that's the original character, and then you like make them fully clothed, which is the Cowboy Bebop issue right now, then you should keep the character the way that it is, or at least close to it, if not paying homage to that. But there's some issues with the actress herself, and Cowboy Bebop is not doing so well. People at Netflix don't really care about content creators or the people, or quote-unquote the fan base.
That's right, folks. Spider-Man is in fact Peter Parker.
And that one little plot, which we even go back to, let's get that, there it is, Public Enemy #1. I didn't see the Far From Home trailer, or wherever, Far From Home, the one where it was with him and Rey Mysterio. The closest that I got with Mysterio was in the Spider-Man 2 video game, which is on the PS2, which was like 2 decades ago. That was probably the closest I got to him. There were some good mentions about who he was and how he was revealed, that he actually was a special effects person, and that's how he was in the movies. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. It's kind of neat. I'm not really a fan of this whole, I'm going to say Phase 4, but after Phase 3, it's like I'm pretty much done with the entire cinematic universe. But please respect and honor the characters that I love. Please don't spit on them. In this thing, it's not too far off from the universe in which they live. Yes, of course this would be an issue. If you have a mask on, you try not to make yourself public, and you've just saved the world, and then this is happening, and it's like, actually that does bring up a question. Why would he be an enemy if he's one of the people that saved the entire universe? Why is that a question? Like, let's just think of it like this, and I've thought about this analogy before. I'm just going to now bring it up now. if you have somebody who saves a school bus of orphaned nuns, why not just have both of them? If to save a school bus of orphaned nuns who, like 12 of them, 20 of them, I don't know, and then that guy goes home and beats his wife, he's not a good person because he beats his wife. He did a horrible act and he deserves punishment because of that one act. But there is a thing of, like, there is a complexity. Why is he being public enemy number one? Shouldn't he be like, he just saved the entire world? Actually, no, that actually does bring up a really good question. If somebody saves the world, but then goes around and kills whoever he wants, and we've realized, oh, these people you're killing is wrong, he is, I would say, actually, is an enemy, because, oh, you did this good act, and then you're doing these bad acts, preying on our goodwill towards you of doing this good act for us. So now that actually brings up a really good question. I don't know why I find this interesting, but I want to go down that avenue of kind of exploring that one path. Him being public enemy number one, regardless of knowing any and all things. Yeah, I think this actually makes a lot of sense. I had to think about it for a second. I had to talk it out, but no, that makes sense. It works.
Listen, I did not kill Mysterio. The drones did.
The drones that are yours.
Does any part of you feel relieved about all this?
What do you mean?
Now that everybody knows you don't really...
Devil! He's the devil! That's funny.
have to hide or lie to people.
See, look at this. I mean, it's just like... Well, you gotta do one... You have to have at least give Mary Jane Watson some... not condemnation. Commendation? To commend somebody? Commendation? Oh, a commendation. There we go. Not condemnation, but commendation. Commendation. It's like the reversal of the M and the D sound with those two words. It's kind of interesting. They're opposite words, technically. I have to commend Mary Jane if they're going to be making her into this this plot where she's actually with him, which is pretty nice. During all this fiasco, that she's not just going to give up and go away. That's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. Now, why her hand is over his hand? Oh yeah, female feminism and women have to take the lead role, etc. And because Spider-Man's movie, well, you still got to do that. I just wanted to nitpick that because Cruella is a movie that I've watched recently over and over and over, and it is a horrible feminism movie. It is horrible. It's a horrible, horrific movie. I would love to debate any and all people about that movie. It's terrible. You can like a movie and it still be bad, but people are liking it not accurately. They are liking it over the bad things. It's like, no, this is a bad thing, but I love it. It's like, okay, why? Because it's pretty. It's like, okay, what about this? Well, we don't talk about that. Okay, good. As long as you have you're accurate with your belief system here.
Record, I never wanted to lie to you. Like, how do you tell someone that you're Spider-Man?
Why did he bring her up there? This is a very dangerous thing for Mary Jane to be up there. What if sequence of events had this happened? Why?
Now everybody knows.
Why would you still go to school? I mean, that's a really good question. Why would you go to school if everybody knows who you are, if you are literally public enemy number one, where the police are after you? If literally you are quote-unquote public enemy, is he illegal? Like, are the police... I don't get that. It's just a weird thing. Again, sequence events might change it where he is revealed while at school, but again, why would you go to school if everybody knows who you are? It's like, I'm just gonna hang out at home and eat ice cream. I'm just gonna play video games.
But this isn't about me. This is hurting a lot of people. I've just been thinking about how to fix all of this.
Cause the wizard, Mr. Wizard, help me, wizard.
So, Peter, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I'm sorry to bother you, sir.
Please, we saved half the universe together. I think we're beyond you comfort.
Wait. He can just throw fire into something, but they have manual labor into fixing whatever frozen storm or whatever happened here. Why do they not use magic just to clean the entire area? It might be just to have a grounding, But when it comes to a magic that we don't understand, these questions are very legitimate. There's two different forms of magic from my understanding when it comes to stories. Soft magic would be like in Lord of the Rings. People just kind of, not people, wizards cast a spell. It might take a few words or chants or the staff, and it just kind of happens. But it doesn't happen that often, therefore it's much more grounding that it's a very rare thing to happen. And more rarity, the more powerful you can make that thing. I know it's kind of like a very vague and kind of convoluted answer. Hopefully it made it accurate. But then there's the hard magic that usually you can find in anime. I know that's probably not an answer that most people probably want to hear, but in anime, there is a lot of explanation when it comes to a spell, when it comes to an ability that uses a quote-unquote magic or ability that is outside of the physical. And you'll get this a lot within, like in Naruto. Naruto is a very old and very long-running anime where chakra, the energy inside, that is used, and they go into detail about where it is in the body, which one uses what, why would you use one or the other, how you would charge them up, and those are explained over like 10, 20 episodes. And then this person has a very special ability that uses this particular body part, like growing bones. You can grow bones at a rapid degree, and that's because of this, this, and this, and they explain that, and then he's allowed to do it, and then they go into the fight scene. So you can have it either way. In this world, in the world that we live in, we kind of have a mixture of both for whatever is required of the scene. I never really thought of it until I paused it. It's kind of interesting. I want to have a more grounded magic system if we're going to do it. Now, the grounded system can be, this is the crystal that is required to do this spell. Transmutation. Okay, I'm just kind of pulling this out of my butt right now. And then that you require these words to make that transmutation spell into a teleport spell. And then when you use them in combination, then you can teleport. Or using with Doctor Strange, with the ring, and then you use that circle maneuver. Like that's how you create a circle teleportation, and you can move from one place to the other. That is a very grounded spell that requires a very physical activity. But one of the questions that I have is, Doctor Strange is seen in his other movie of having all these things cleaning while he's doing. I don't know. I'm actually thinking of Merlin. Man, Merlin's on the brain. It's a British TV show, and I think if anybody enjoys kind of silly, cheesy TV show, I think it's a pretty good. Not campy, but cheesy, because it's just a really good show. Watch the first episode. If you like it, you'll like the first 2 seasons. After that, that's kind of debatable, but I think you'll like the first 2, if not the 3rd season. Highly recommend it. But I'm just kind of curious as to why he doesn't have any magic spell that just goes and just removes it all. Is it like physical punishment, which would be kind of funny? Like that would be something of, once you're able to clean everything physically, then you can start learning how to do the spell. Therefore, you don't take the spells that you learn or use into, not consideration, what's the word? You don't become complacent about how powerful and how amazing the spells are for you. That you actually have this honor and respect for the spell, which I think would be a really cool little tidbit that they could add.
On you, sir.
Okay, Steven.
That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
When Mysterio revealed my identity, my entire life got screwed up. I was wondering if maybe you could make it so that he never did.
Strange.
Don't cast that spell.
That's a good question. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good statement. Like, don't change the fabric of reality on the whims of a what-year-old? A teen? Someone in high school? Hey, I want this to happen. You know what? I owe you one. Like, no. It's like, here's some rules, or we can thrust. One of the things that they could do with this entire movie, and spoiler warning for at least the trailer, he's gonna do it. He's going to change all the fabric of reality and try and put him into a time frame or go into the multiverse or something. And there was one theory that I really didn't like, that Wanda is actually going to save. Not Steve. Is Steven? Steven Strange? Yeah, it is Steven, I think. Okay. Doctor Strange and Peter Parker from the multiverse that they're going from one to the other, to the other, to the other, that Doctor Strange, quote-unquote, broke the time universe, multiverse, whatever it is, that Wanda is actually going to come in, Scarlet the Scarlet Witch, she's going to come in, rescue the both of them because female empowerment, men can't do anything right. It's all about women in this new phase. And it's like, why does it have to be about women rather than just good plot device? You can have the Scarlet Witch be in one of those things, and then she does something to start correcting it, and then Doctor Strange is able to overcome the mistake that he did, and Peter Parker realizes that he just has to accept the reality that he's in. That you can have a very strong female character in one of the realities that they meet, and then she helps fix it, but it doesn't fix itself, that they have to go off and continue doing it. It's like, oh, okay, if you're going to have a cameo, or not a cameo, but a character that's just going to be introduced, why not have it that way? You can have a very strong, like, this is about, from what we've seen already, Doctor Strange, specifically first Peter Parker, then Doctor Strange. But if the Scarlett Johansson, not Scarlett Johansson, if the Scarlet Witch, if Scarlet Witch saves the day, that's probably going to be, oh, I'm going to so cringe and make so many videos about how stupid that is. That's dumb. Scarlet Witch, enslaved a town from what I've heard. I've not watched the TV show. I'm not a fan of the Marvel TV shows that are coming out. It's just... okay, let's move on.
It's too dangerous. Fine. I won't.
And he does. Why? Why are you doing this? I'm gonna go with a 17-year-old. I think that's how old he is in this universe. He's probably like 27 in real life, so just has a baby face. But why would you do this to a 17-year-old? One of the things that I think you should do, and I think if this is an entire movie about him faking out Peter Parker, it's not about him actually going through all of the multiverse, but him having a glimpse of all the multiverse and him having like a spasm in his mind, being able to experience all those things without actually affecting the multiverse. How amazing that would be by not destroying prior content. Please do that.
The entire world is about to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Wait, everyone? Can't some people still know?
That's not how the spell works.
Wait. The person you're casting the spell for, Peter Parker, to have everybody in the world forget who, that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, Spider-Man is Peter Parker, one of the things that, again, a 17-year-old who has the entire weight of the world on him, he's more focused on harming other people. That, again, I am A-okay with him as a 17-year-old in this movie not being able to really grasp the reality that everybody means everybody, including his friends and family. And if he says everybody, why would that not also include both Doctor Strange and Peter Parker? Or is it because they are inside the circle that it means that those two people are unaffected by the spell? That's just kind of an interesting question that I'd like to have answered, but I think it's the latter. I think it's a bit more reasonable with everybody inside this circle, both of them, they're protected from the spell. At this point, why can you not stop the spell? The person you're going to be doing a spell for that's going to have literally cosmic implications, if not galactic implications, worldwide understanding of a very particular activity. A, why are you doing it for him, and why are you not going back in time and fixing all the other issues? Okay, if we're going to be bringing that up. So, he has the time stone, right? Or he doesn't have the time stone. Something happened with, I think, the end game, where something happened with the time... Oh, no. All the time stones are gone. Wow, I'm silly. No, I'm silly. Like, I'm still thinking Infinity War. Like, okay. All the gems have been destroyed because of the last movie in Endgame. Actually, the last movie in Phase 3 was Peter Parker's movie. I think it was at Homecoming. I think it was the second movie. Oh, anyways, that's a little sidetrack. One thing that I kind of find interesting is why can't he stop the spell? The person you're casting the spell from has major hesitations about you casting the spell. Why did you not warn him that? Of somebody who knows great magics and great potentially dangerous things, you usually have a checklist, a check system of, this is what's going to happen if you're making certain, we got to make certain right now, because if not, then do this. And you could even have that. Have it where Doctor Strange has a checklist, maybe like 3 major questions that he asks before the thing. 1, do you have any hesitations? Because once I start, it can't be stopped. And number 2, whatever. Number 3, whatever. 3 major questions that Peter Parker has to answer. He answers them on a whim, and then when Doctor Strange starts the spell, he then says, okay, this is going to erase it, and just to make certain, this is going to erase everybody's memory. And he's like, oh, everybody? Oh, I really meant like everybody else. Like, okay, it's too late. I can't control myself. The spell starts doing its thing when I start it. It's like, oh, that'd be kind of interesting. Of a spell, maybe what you tap into a particular realm or something, and it makes you go through the movements regardless of whether or not you can or can't stop yourself. Again, there's so many implications you can have from that. But again, why would you not why would you not stop the spell? We can't stop the spell. Why? Because it's too dangerous. Because. And again, we can't stop the spell. Why did you not tell him that? That is a very major critical thing. Hey, what we're going to do is we're going to erase everybody's memory everywhere. And number 2, I can't stop the spell once I start it. You could say these 2 things before you started the spell. You are so quick to change the fabric of reality for this kid for the sake of the plot. That's a bit silly.
So MJ's gonna forget about everything we've ever been through?
Stop tampering with the spell.
How can he tamper with the spell if you can't stop the spell? You can tamper with the spell, but you can't stop the spell? I need to go back. Okay, let me get this again. I need to hear this.
The entire world is about to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Wait, everyone? Can't some people still know?
That's not how the spell works.
That's not how the spell works. Then why don't you just change the spell? Well, we can't stop the spell, and if we stop the spell, it changes the spell. And it's like, okay, why? How? Why? You're the Sorcerer Supreme. You are the leading mystic arts expert in things. If anything, how it was described about Doctor Strange in the comic books, at least, is that he's not necessarily the most powerful magician or a sorcerer. He is literally not a harborer. Hopefully that's the right word. He's the harbinger, or he's the herald of so many powerful spells and so many powerful magical items that amplify his magic. That he's just kind of a normal guy. It's just he has all these things that help him in being able to hold the balance of all the cosmos and all the realms together.
So MJ's gonna forget about everything we've ever been through?
Stop tampering with the spell.
How can he tamper with the spell? Is the tampering of the spell with him talking about it? Is it interrupting his thought process? And that thought process is very delicate, which again would beg the question as to why you are dealing with such powerful magic for this kid. Why?
Oh my god, Ned, he's my best friend. Oh, my Aunt May should really
Stop talking.
Are you kidding me? No! No! Let's go back.
He should really stop talking.
Stop talking? So you're saying the fabric of reality has literally turned into turmoil and mayhem and destruction. Again, this is what it looks like. I could be entirely wrong that this is actually how the spell works. Because you can't multitask a kid talking to you, the very same kid you introduced into the circle, didn't tell him to not talk. Did you tell him not to talk? Did they cut that out because of the trailer to make us have more empathy or sympathy for just what's going on? It's like, oh my gosh, it's so chaotic. Oh, it's Peter Parker's fault. No, it's not. It's Doctor Strange's fault. Why is he doing this? Okay, so that either did change the entire fabric of reality or that didn't change it. Are they in a new multiverse or are they not?
What just happened?
And again, but one of the biggest questions, even going back to here, is that little thing this little spinning thing, which actually looks pretty awesome. I'd love to have that on my desk. That would be pretty freaking amazing. I'm certain you can purchase that on Amazon. Was this supposed to happen? And if it wasn't supposed to happen, what did Doctor Strange do to mess up in such a big way? And if it really was Peter Parker's fault in talking? Was that because it broke his train of thought? Was that specifically because he was talking and words are literally a power tool? Which I really do think would be a phenomenal magic system. That, again, words do have power. They do. Again, like let's just say it like this: speaking truth to power does affect people in a certain way. That is a quote unquote magic to actually cause or invoke actions. It's one thing in like again a game that many people probably have already checked off their list. But in World of Warcraft, the priest literally has like power word pain, which means that you speak pain and boom, they have pain on them. Tapping into the Shadow Realm, boom, you have a damage over time ability onto an enemy, or power word barrier, which is you speak something and then you pop a barrier onto somebody to protect themselves or something. So I mean, there's little tiny things you could do with that, and there's with Skyrim, you have the dragon speaks, the dragon yells, or whatever it is. And then you have like again, voice has power, which that'd be kind of an interesting thing as to why if that was interrupting the magic. Just kind of a few questions I have.
What just happened?
Tampered with the stability of space-time.
You tampered with the stability of space-time? If anybody out there doesn't know, but space-time is, from what we understand, seems to be one and the same thing. They're not two independent things, but the same. I had that explained to me from PBS Science. It's actually, I know it's like, oh, PBS, isn't that a kid's show? Or a kid's channel? It's like, it's public broadcasting or something. PBS, Public Broadcasting System or something. But right now, PBS Science, for anybody who just wants to go online and look at some of those videos, there's actually very in-depth content that goes way over my head, but space-time is actually one thing. I didn't know that. I still don't understand it to a great degree, but it's kind of an interesting thing that we're actually changing our understanding of just like gravitation is not a force. Gravity is not a force. Gravity is an effect of something. It's gravity is the effect of the curvature of an item compared to another thing. That gravity is just the effect of something's curvature or something. It's very interesting. I still don't understand it entirely, but it's like, oh, that's different than what I grew up with. So, yeah, let's go back to that one quote that Dr. Strange said to Peter Parker.
We tampered with the stability of space-time.
Okay, I want to hear it again.
Tampered with the stability of space-time.
You tampered with the stability of space-time. Okay, is that after? Is that during? Is this something that Doctor Strange knows that he has ultimately tampered with the with the stability of space-time, and Doctor Strange is in control the entire time, and he's just allowing Peter Parker to go through all this strife and mayhem and personal turmoil to understand that if he tries to change the fabric of reality, it's going to have even more major consequences because he doesn't know that there's actually a flow to space-time, a flow to the universe's ultimate end, ultimate objective. Which I think with I love time stories that have that. It's actually very meaningful. Is that you might feel like you're trapped into your actions not having an ability to not. It actually does speak to a higher level of authority and power. If we really want to talk about religion and such, but there is a hand in your actions being driven towards this particular direction. Like the movie Donnie Darko is about the like nihilistic aspect of having a deterministic future. But one of the things is that there's a flow within this universe that you act on. That you could have it where Doctor Strange is very much aware of the fabric of reality. That he's very much aware that it doesn't matter what it is that you do from this spell. At the ultimate end, this is going to be the destination. This is going to be the end. It's like somebody creating a story from start to finish and then telling it. They know what the story is. We're going along the ride and we're going through the adventure. That's a very good analogy of it. Somebody creates a story from start to finish. There is an end of the story that has a very particular end that we cannot have an action of, but we can experience it with them. And it's one of those things of like, well, that brings up a lot of moral things as to why, suffering and stuff. Like, absolutely having a conversation with that. But having it with a story of this is a time that cannot be changed, and it's you to understand and to understand the gravity as to why it is happening in a particular way that has reasons beyond my understanding. See that there's this infiniteness, if we could really call, like, let's just call God, this infiniteness that we are not able to understand of a time thingy for us to go through and experience, and realizing that there's a heavy hand in any and all things happening the way that they are. And if, again, that brings up into so many things I want to talk about, because I love Christian apologetics, not because, if anybody out there is like, oh, you talk about Christianity and religion, to be honest, Christian apologetics is just a giant mental circle jerk. I'm sorry for anybody out there who just doesn't like that phrase, but it really is. You just need to know a few certain specific things, and once you get that, you really understand pretty much the scope of it all. I'm not saying that's coming from specifically a Christian who was an atheist before. So that's all I'll say about it. It can be a waste of time. It has nothing, like, you don't just study it for the sake of studying it. The whole thing is that you bring people to Christ. That's the whole point of it. So you don't just continue studying and studying and studying. You actually have to do something with it. So you just need to know enough to then go out and do it and actually help other people to come to it. That's the only reason. So that's why I say that the entire, like, Christian apologetics is just a mental masturbation. It really is. So again, learn a little bit, learn enough, and then you're done. That's it. Just toss it to the side. You're done with it. So, and let's keep going, because we're going down a rabbit trail that it's like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I put this into this video, and I'm not cutting it out because time, space stuff.
Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
Wait, what?
Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
Ooh, let me hear that again.
We tampered with the stability of space-time. Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
We? The only person who should be able to know anything at all in the scope of any of the truth about the multiverse should be Doctor Strange. I am very curious. Oh, the Daily Bugle on the right-hand side. So again, we're in the. Okay, it's just a really good. It's a nice detail. One of the things of, like, yes, the multiverse literally is this infinite scope of everything, and how do we understand this one thing, this infiniteness? How do we finite creatures understand the infinite? That's a really good question. And if anybody who has any answers at all, should be Doctor Strange. Again, the more that you understand an infinite number or something, the less you know about it, which is like a wisdom. It's like somebody who's like a monk in a monastery or something that you go and seek wisdom from. It's like, you can seek knowledge, but once you seek that knowledge, you realize that how much you just don't understand about something. It's like, that's a very wise thing to say, but you should have at least some answers as to if it literally is. Excuse me. If the multiverse is something that literally we have no understanding about, why have we gone through this entire adventure to begin with if you are literally gambling with the entire fabric of all space-time, all fabric of reality, if this is what it looks like, the fabric of any and all things, of something being destroyed, of one multiverse, of one universe in the multiverse being destroyed, if this is the consequences. And it's like, oh, whoops. Like, is that your response? Please, I would love it to have it where Doctor Strange has everything under control. That literally he knows that this is the exact path that is going to happen, and he just wants Peter Parker to come to the understanding to grow and evolve from who he was before. Wait, why that? Okay, it looked awesome because of the train from what one YouTuber was mentioning, that could have been the train from Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, that we'll see at the end of this trailer if this is the right trailer. The thing is that, why is he doing this? Why is the train out here in the middle of nowhere? And I'm assuming that he made a teleport circle for them to go through, but again, if that's the case, how is there a train track? Or is this train track somewhere in the middle of, like, Utah, which, again, I don't know my geography very well, so I'm certain there's canyons out there or something. And Nova Scotia, I think that's in Canada. But again, why do this? Why make multiple? If you can make multiple of this, literally, why can't you do anything in this entire thing? Why can't you just snap your fingers and put things back to reality if you are literally able to just copy and paste one thing or to the other? Because if you can copy and paste, why can't you just delete? If there's an enemy, why not just delete them? If you can copy and paste, why can't you delete? If we're going to just go with the computer analogy. And then the whole train, which again, is he copying and pasting the train tracks? These train tracks look like from, again, if I remember correctly, Spider-Man 2. So I'm going to assume that. But why did he create this thing? Where are they going? Why does it look the way that it looks? How did it happen? It's like, oh, just space-time destruction, disturbance. So this is the consequences of it. Okay, if that's the case, literally, why can't just the canyon start being filled with water? Why can't they be flooded? And then why can't like Earth go off of its axis? And like it's just kind of weird. It's just, why not have other things happen? Well, because this needs to happen a particular way because of the plot. Rather than like, okay, is there some grounding in this magic system or is there not? That's just kind of what I'm looking for. And it's kind of, it seems to have both. It's convenient when this, but not with this. And the more powerful magics, and we'll even go with quantum mechanics, we'll just go with that. That the smaller and smaller in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the smaller and smaller Paul Walker, I don't know, but Paul gets, Ant-Man, the more that he sees the universe is just absolutely nuts. That's just things we just cannot fathom. There is that tardigrade, that's the one thing that we do see. It's kind of interesting that they put that in a movie, just to give him the scope of like how small he is.
The problem is you trying to live two different lives.
The problem is you trying to live two different lives. Oh, now this is a photo I didn't really consider. If you actually notice, this is a different costume than he has before, because he has the... Is it? Yeah, because he has... we're at 221, and if we go to Peter Parker standing on top of the tower, we have to take... Right there. Oh, this... Okay, no, it's the same costume. Okay, it's just that there's more red in the front than the back. I didn't see the back of it, because if we... come back here at 221.
You trying to live two different lives.
You trying to live two different lives? Wait a second, is Doctor Strange legitimately giving him a finger wagging of saying this is legitimately your fault and every and all issues are because of you? It's like, dude, you're the one that cast the spell. It's like you don't seem in control in that sequence of events in that one particular moment, right? Let's go back.
The problem is you trying to live two different lives.
It looks like he's out of breath. This is your fault for trying to live two different lives. Again, it's just Doctor Strange's, the actor's delivery. That makes me question as to whether or not he is in control, or he might be in control and he's trying to like deliver here's the lesson for you of what's going to happen to you because of this. And then at the very end, he just redoes it all. Redoes it? Removes? Do over. But again, is this the very same scene right after, or is this playing off again? This actually seems to be the very scene in which they did he just cast the spell, and then there was destruction in his place. Yeah, so he just cast the spell, things got destroyed, and then... Like, why are you giving him now a finger wagging of how wrong it is? Why don't you... Are you in control of the situation or are you not? And if you're not in control of the situation, why did you do this entire thing? Because he asked, why are you doing whatever a 17-year-old kid asks you to? You are the harbinger, you are the door, you are the passage of any and all of the multiverse to be in its cosmic balance, as destructive and chaotic as all of it is. Why are you doing the things that you do? And again, that one scene is actually kind of interesting, because why would you do that to Peter Parker? And one of the questions that I heard from other people, a theory, is that they're bringing back Tobey Maguire, the original Spider-Man. They're bringing back Andrew Garfield, which I do like him as a Spider-Man. I actually do like those two movies. I think that what they did with Green Goblin was a little weird. Gwen Stacy, I think, was an okay of a plotline. I don't like the ending of the second one, but it's a bittersweet moment with the ending of that one. I am okay with those two movies. I know a lot of people hate them, and I probably need to watch them again to actually, if I was to have a discussion with somebody as to why I either liked it or didn't like it, whether or not I'm actually objective, or is it just like a personal flavor because I do like the actor, because he actually does play really good in, it's not Red Ridge, it's something Ridge. It's a war movie about a guy who is a conscientious objector as a medic, but he goes into combat and he saves like 47 people. So spoiler warning for anybody who doesn't know that, but it's phenomenal. It's a really good story. But I like the actor. Just the actor himself, being an actor, not the person. I have no idea who he is as a person. Like most actors. So why is he doing this? Why is this a thing? One, what is he holding? Is it like a mystery box? Is the box the herald of the magic, the little thing that was at the very the circle where the circle was just not moments ago? If we go back, where is it?
Trying to live two different lives.
Yeah, right there. Is that box supposed to represent the thing that should be in the middle right here? Is it a mixture of something? And there's John Farvago. Yeah, why is he doing this? The astral projection. Why is he removing that? Again, that's something that happened to him, Doctor Strange, which again, having the white streaks on his hair is actually pretty stylish. I would have to admit that. But one of the questions is why are you doing this? Again, you can't be you can't ever be mad at Peter Parker. You can't be mad at Peter Parker. He looks mad and pissed off at him. And if he is, because it's like okay, here's a really cool thing. He's mad at him even though he knows the actions that he will take. Knowing that Doctor Strange is in control of any and all things. That would be interesting. It's like that would bring up a bunch of questions, yes, but that would be kind of interesting. I would love to see a storyline with that. And then the Iron Man Spider-Man, the Iron Spider, whatever it's called. Okay, so again, is that still Peter Parker or is that a new suit? Is that the Tom Holland, or is that, which I think Tom Holland is the newest Spider-Man, or is that any other Spider-Man?
The longer you do it, the more dangerous it becomes.
Why does he have guns pointed at him? Why does this guy have guns pointed at him?
The more dangerous it becomes.
Why? This seems random. Who's after him? Is it just is this a multiverse? John Favreau, Fabio. We're gonna go with Fabio. John Fabio. I don't know his last name. John Fabio. So Mr. Fabio is there having people with guns pointed at him. Why? Again, is this the regular universe? Is it affected because there's a crossover? Are the crossovers happening in this one universe, and the multiverses are crisscrossing, and you're getting this hodgepodge, this mesh of other Spider-Mans and villains that are coming into this universe? Does he get killed? Do we go back in time even though we don't have the time stone? Is it something how does this work out? Ooh, let's go back. I didn't really notice that. I didn't notice that before. But was that... Again, that little is like fire cloud. Was that? What's happening? There's so many things happening. There's just lightning being shot everywhere. There's lightning being shot at something. Is that the multiverse that's actually trying to come in? Is the enemy, the ultimate bad guy at the end, the multiverse itself, or from Dormammu? Has he been released, or is it a different multiverse enemy that's come and trying to destroy this reality, and that's what Doctor Strange has to clean up? But again, that's not Peter Parker's fault. That's actually Doctor Strange's fault for allowing this entire thing to happen. Yes, fault can reside from people who do stupid actions. I did not know if anybody out there knows that. I'm twirling my evil mustache, and I'm stroking my goatee. Green Goblin, but again, it depends on which Green Goblin it is, if whether or not you're going to bring the original Green Goblin. It depends on whether or not you're going to bring... But let me hear that laugh, because I'm trying to... Dafoe? William Dafoe? I think that's the guy's name. Yeah, that sounds like William Dafoe, and he's a phenomenal Green Goblin. He's very, not campy, but he's a stereotypical, silly, cheesy, I probably could say campy, silly, cheesy comic book villain that actually does play out very well of him being a stereotypical insane guy. It's just like he has the technology and he's crazy, and it's just he rolls with it. He's a phenomenal comic book villain on screen. I love it. I love everything about it, including the bad.
Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
How? Wait, who is she? Why are you having this random scene? Be careful what you wish for, Parker. Ooh! Doesn't that mean that he actually is in control? Be careful what you wish for, because that sounds like he's whispering. That doesn't sound like he's actually talking to Peter Parker. Because if that's the case, I really would I would lean more towards him actually having a, what is it? Just being in more control. Yeah, Doctor Strange seems to be in control. Just be careful what you wish for. It doesn't seem like a thing that you would just say in one piece, but there have been moments in movies lately in the last 5 years, and video games with The Last of Us 2, where they would specifically edit and have the actors do voiceovers specifically for the trailer that is absolutely different than the actual movie, which means that you're getting the advertisement of a cheeseburger, but then when you actually get the burger, it's half the size, you have half the lettuce, there's no tomato or pickles, and maybe the bread's a little, soggy. It's it's not the same photo, it's not the same finished, touched thing that we all expected and were anticipating for. You gave us something that was different. And from that, there's a lot of issues from that. If you just try to psych us out from here's the movie, and then we're going to show you something different, it's oh, wow, I want this burger and fries, and then you give me a steak. Okay, is the steak I'm what the heck? I didn't ask for this. But if it's well, this is the number 8. This is the burger and fries. Oh, I'm sorry, that was false advertising. It's oh, exactly what my issue is. It's the steak can probably be really good. I'm not hungry for a steak. I'm hungry for burger and fries. Why? Because I want burger and fries. Okay. Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus. By the way, he's one of my favorite comic book villains. Let me rephrase that. He's one of my favorite TV, comic to TV or comic to movie villains. Not because of his power set, not at all. Spider-Man 2 was very iconic in my life, more ways than one, and that I didn't really realize. But I rewatched a few of those scenes, and it's actually a phenomenal storyline with a hopeful scientist that they go into depth with. Peter Parker has a relationship with. Peter Parker looks up to Dr. Ock. He looks up to him. They have a relationship. They invite him to dinner. They have a great relationship, much like the first one. The Green Goblin and Peter Peter Parker's the son that he wished that he had with his own son. That's just kind of how it comes off, and his own son kind of resents the both of them for that. So it's there's this sort of animosity that grows naturally because of that one relationship. So they did it really well in the first one. They did another one completely different and separate in this one, and it's just a thing is to realize at the very end of that movie that Doc Ock actually understands oh, I'm the bad guy. This person who looks up to me, that, again, I'm looking at Peter Parker with his mask off, he looks up to me, and it's just a self-reflection of whoa, who have I become? And then he overcomes the evil that are the camera little, I think each one of those tentacles is a camera or something. Or has camera, but it has its own AI or something. But he now takes control of them and says, okay, for our last final redemptive act, we're going to thrust this thing that's continuously ever growing, and we're going to plunge ourselves into the bottom of the sea, or the bottom of the New York Lake or whatever, New York River, the Hudson. I think it's the Hudson. It's a phenomenal storyline, and again, why they are bringing him back, one of the things that I've heard, one of the rumor, is that he is coming back just before he fell into the Hudson, which means he should be a good guy who's helping Peter Parker. If that's the case, this movie will be on one of my favorites list just because of that. Just because of this one little moment that they did, I'll probably put this at the top of my list of yep, movie I don't care about whether or not it's bad. It's really good. Yeah, blind loyalty, blind love about it. Yep, absolutely. I'll put my hands up yep, amen, brother. But one of the things that they could do to ruin this entire movie is if they bring him back before he transitioned or switched into his redemptive side. If he is a villain in this movie, they bring him back as a villain. No, the movie can go to hell. That's not what Doc Ock's story arc, specifically with this actor, what happened to him. It's the same kind of issue I have with Cruella. If you don't want to stay true or solid or honor the old history with Cruella, don't use the name Cruella, don't use the plot line, don't use their likes and interests. Make your own story. If you don't want to honor and respect old content, don't use old content as a crutch. It's a parasitic relationship that modern day cinema, modern day storytellers, modern day people with modern day values of, you know what, I love, let's just pick one out of my butt. Let's go with bronies. No idea anything about it. There's a few people that I had not a relationship, but a conversation with about that thing, about the bronies. And I think bronies is just a really cool, fun name. And if anybody who doesn't know what bronies are, it's the men who enjoy My Little Pony. That's just like, aha, bronies. And it's not a gay thing. It's just I just like My Little Pony. I just like it. And My Little Ponies is a kids cartoon show and a child's cartoon show about little ponies. That's pretty much it. And they all have magical powers. There's Fluffers and Mr. Wiggles and Butt Muffin or whatever the tramp stamp is on their butt cheek. So, and it's just, you know, you can have I don't know where I was going with that. Once I started talking about bronies, I just started thinking about brownies, and I just can't get that image out of my head. Like, because I have these brown fiber brownies that are on my desk, or not on my desk, but on my table. My little island. It's not really an island, but right next to my kitchen. And they've expired, both boxes. So I have to get rid of them either today or tomorrow or the next day. They have to go because they're already technically expired on the box. But I've just been doing nothing but eating fiber brownies. And they're good, but I'm tired of them. But I don't want to throw them away because that's a waste of money. So I've just been eating nothing but fiber brownies. It's like a bittersweet moment of like, yay, brownies! Oh, not another one. But I don't want to throw them away, so I'm gonna eat one. Eat one more. It's like in The Simpsons where they get all the candy from. Homer Simpson takes them all to the candy land or candy shop or whatever it is. A candy exposition. Marge is the where they stuff. She gets all these pockets and stuff for her trench coat, and they stuff all this candy in here into her pockets and stuff. She steals all the candy that was stuffed into the pockets, and there was an epic exit scene with Mentos and Coke or something, or whatever it was, and explosions happened. But once they got home, she unloaded all the candy, and they played with the candy. They were like doing candy angels and talking about all these stuff. Candy. The next day, they got so sick and tired, they were coming downstairs and be like, oh, I'm so sick. And Marge said, well, why don't you go eat an apple? And then they just like hunch over the candy and start like, well, no. And it's like, no, I'd rather have the candy. I feel so terrible, but I want to continue doing the bad thing because I want to. That's pretty much what I'm doing with these fiber brownies. And I'm trying to get rid of some old canned food too. I got beans, I got lasagna in a can. It's like, man, I have not touched them over like 2 years. They need to be gotten rid of. There's a food that I don't like, but it's like, I don't want to throw it away, but I need to eat it. Like, that's my life right now. I know. It's so horrible that I have food. So, first world problems. Yes, sir. Or ma'am.
Hello, Peter.
Oh, that's just, it makes, I love it. I love this. It makes me so happy. Oh. I'm happy. I have to take this moment. I'm really happy. I don't want them to fuck the character. I don't want them to destroy childhood. If they do, fuck them. Okay, that's just, I don't like to use words like that. I don't like to use profane language unless it was appropriate. But they better not disrespect the character that I have come to grow and love because of a simple gag or issue. It's like, oh, we have to have this to happen. The plot needs to have this, so we're going to bring in this character that has nothing to do with this plot, and then we're going to make him do something different that's at contrary or contrasts to what he actually would do. It's like, then why would you use this character? I hope my love and respect is towards a particular future with this entire movie and plot is if they use him respectfully. If this is the evil Dr. Ock and is actually explained that he's actually an evil character, and then they come back and he's evil and maybe has another redemption arc, which would be fantastic, would be phenomenal. But if this is the post-evil Doc Ock, where he has a revelation of him being the bad guy, and he needs to change and do good, as that was one of the reasons as to for him, and not just being one of his inspirations of being a scientist is that like with great power comes great responsibility. That's why I think that's one quote that he, or at least idea that he echoes in the Spider-Man 2. If he's that character and they handle him right, everything that I said, I take back. But if not, my goodness. It's like they have been ruining films for the last 2 to 3 years of old content for the sake of a gag, the sake of current plot, because female empowerment, so therefore if you're a guy, you're on the chopping block. It's like, why? Does it matter what sex or whatever? Why? So, I love this character. I love him with a passion. Again, the character, not the actor. I have no idea who he is as a person. No idea, don't care. This character is one of my favorites. Not because of his power level, but who he is in relationship to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man being such a grounded character in the other movies, that I can understand that this Spider-Man in this Marvel Cinematic Universe is so just crazy and out there in space and Iron Man and all that, where he's a very grounded villain who doesn't have great powers, but he's a great, well-written character. I'd have to go through the entire movie, Spider-Man 2, to actually pinpoint what it is. But it's just the one scene. We'll go with one example. One scene. Spider-Man having a conversation with both Dr. Ock and his wife at the dinner table, I believe the day before they have the grand reveal of him donning the 4 tentacle arms to be able to control this nuclear sun. And that conversation at the dinner table is so well enveloped with Dr. Ock is in love with his wife, that it's like he has both the science and the beauty in it. It's like, as much of a quote-unquote nerd that he might be, the way that he was grounded is having the love of his wife, who I think is also a... No, she's an artist. She's like a sculptor or something. And it's just like that balance, like you have the extreme side of one, and then you have the extreme side of the other. You have the mind, and you also have the heart, and that balances and makes you a complete whole person. And we get to see that. He was a complete whole person, but he was corrupted and blinded by his hatred of what he thought that Spider-Man did to his wife or something, of a spur-of-the-moment issue that was very hard to control and contain, which was the sun fusion power cell, or whatever it is that they were calling it. And then that, unfortunately, had his wife be murdered and killed, not murdered, but killed from the incident. And then he blamed Spider-Man from it, and he was trying to recreate the thing that he thought that Spider-Man took from him. And then he just it's so great. It's so good. It is such a good episode. It's such a good movie. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. No apology from me. Well, I guess apologia, again, is a Greek term for giving a defense for. I love it. 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 If I could French kiss my feelings and just like the disembodied form of it, it's like, oh my gosh, I love the lovey feeling that I have about the character and growth and development about Doc Ock with Spider-Man, and specifically that Spider-Man. It's so grounded, it feels so real, even though they use CGI and it's sci-fi, fantasy, or whatever. It's like, the story starts off from that phenomenal character growth and development. It's so good! I don't know, there's nothing else to say about it. I just want to talk about it more. It's so good! I feel so happy with that movie. It's such a good movie.
Hello, Peter.
No! Oh, I didn't even realize this, because, again, the first time that I saw this from somebody else watching it, I didn't realize this. Is he suiting up to fight Doc Ock, or is this a separate scene? Or is this a separate scene that they made it look like they're about to battle? If they battle, the show can go screw itself, okay? No, it's gone. It's stupid. It's done. Because again, you don't bring an old character and then make him do new things. It's like, okay, we're gonna have the Punisher pick daisies and stuff. It's like, that's not the Punisher. That's not who the Punisher is. We're gonna have Doctor Strange do mathematical formulas. It's like, that's not the type of doctor. That's not the type of doctorate's degree that he has. He's a medical doctor. It's like you're making him do something that he doesn't do before. Bruce Banner is, I think, a radiologist, but specifically somebody who is has a quote-unquote doctorate, or is very technically understanding of like radiation and stuff, because he needs to take care of his quote-unquote issue, the Hulk. Like, that makes sense. That goes together. But then you have him, and he's now a molecular biologist. It's like, why? I mean, it's not much of a stretch, but it's kind of a curious thing. Like, you're, adapting the character a little bit. Okay. Now he's an astronomist. It's like, why? Why would he know anything about space to the nth degree? I mean, like, he should just be a traditional, normal guy in that field. Why? Because he's smart. Smart people just know things. That's stupid. Like, that's retarded. That's how we get stupid cinema. You're the reason the culture's the way that it is. Like, this fictitious person that I'm thinking about. Please don't have them combat. And if anything, you could still have this moment where he's suiting up, thinking he's about to be having a combat or fight with Doc Ock, and it really is a psych out moment because Peter Parker thinks they're getting to a fight, but Doc Ock actually is saying, whoa, 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 I'm actually here to help. That would be amazing. I do like the soundtrack. It's respectful to the old, and they tweaked and modified it. Which, again, new things can be good, but please honor and respect the old. If you want to have the if you want to have that theme song, you can make it however you want. I'm a fan of orchestra music. If you want to take an old theme and then make it into an orchestra, I love that. I love having a remix. I love listening to beatbox battlers online, because I do like to hear the different melodies and such. And I'm very picky about who I like to listen to, because I need to have a particular melody that's involved. There's this one beatboxer called So-So. Lots of people like him, but I'm not a fan of his type of music. It doesn't bode well inside of my head. It doesn't bode well inside of my heart. I can't find a beat to it that's worthy of listening to. But again, people like it. It's like, okay. But then if you, there's no issue there, not at all. I don't like something. Okay, whatever. It's like I just personally don't like it. But here, the Marvel Studios, Disney, which is just a very hard thing for me to say. I don't like Disney, where they can change a little bit. They can change a lot of the original. The thing is, honor and respect that. If you want to have an entirely new Spider-Man soundtrack, but then insert do-do-do, and have that only in the beginning, or maybe only in the middle, or maybe at the very end, or maybe just having it like an echoed thing that's throughout the film, that'd be kind of cool. It's respectful if you want to make your own theme song and then transition away from that music, because maybe you want to have less royalties going out, and you want to transition into that new music where you're not spitting on the old thing. So that's how I feel about it. December 17th. There's a little bit. No, that's it. Heighten your senses. Dual sense wireless controllers. Yeah, that's it. And they probably have the recommendations. A journal for Jordan. Okay. Anyways, I have no recall. I have no idea what that is. I might have to watch it. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. I have mixed feelings about this movie. I did not realize how much there's actually to tell about this movie just from the teaser. There's one way in which I'm hoping for it to go, and I doubt it will. I have not been proven. It has not been proven to me that the Marvel Cinematic Universe, specifically with Disney, specifically with the CEO or the managers, the people at the very top, the culture of the people that are running any and all things, behind the scenes, I have not been proven that they can actually produce something that's worthy to watch. I think with the prior Spider-Man movies, they've done good things with it. If they are to respect the old characters, regardless of whether or not Doctor Strange, again, please don't ruin Doc Ock. That's an insufferable, unforgivable sin, really. If you second tier would be, or I guess the first tier, I guess whichever order. The second unforgivable one is if you mess up Doctor Strange, of him being like either too dumb or stupid. Specifically, if you have Scarlet Witch save the day because men can't do anything right. It's like, why? Why did Scarlet Witch come in and save the day? Because they want to have female empowerment. That's like, you could do that respectfully without ruining or trying to make a male look bad. Again, modern feminism is just about high school girls who belittle people to make them feel small so they themselves can feel big. That's modern day feminism in a nutshell. I heard that analogy from Friday Night Tights, and it's a very apt description. You can have strong female characters and strong male characters. First, focus on the plot, reasonability of what the character would do. You can have them mess up. I love characters messing up. It actually allows them to have growth. Like in Spider-Man: The Multiverse. That one, I think they kind of disrespected a few of the characters, but ultimately, I think they did phenomenal handling all the characters. There's a few things that I would change, just a few, but I think ultimately they have Miles or Morales. Which one is it? Miles Morales. Miles Morales? I think that's his name. Yeah, where he's very weak. And then he gets his strength over time learning from the best. And then he becomes the most powerful. I have no issue with him being more powerful. I think it's, for me, I was like, how does he get electric powers? That was the one question, like, what the heck? Why? That was just like, why do you have this power set? I had such an issue with that. Such an issue. But, other than that, I was like, okay, good. Like, I'm glad that he was able to conquer his universe and be able to save the day. But they didn't do it by crapping on the other characters. They did it by allowing him to grow and evolve naturally with the other characters in harmony. It was really good. It was really great, actually. It was one of the better Spider-Man movies I have seen. Specifically, I would just say, I want to say a Marvel movie. Is it a Marvel movie? Sony? I think it's a Sony movie. I think it's Sony. Anyways, yeah. So that's what I got. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being at the very end. And I will see you next time.